Hi guys, thank you for watching. Please do sub and like and follow me on all my social media accounts. Hello and welcome back to the Massimo Peluso channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you write your personal statement. So I remember the first time I started writing my personal statement, it was the bane of my life. It took me so long. It took me about 8, 10 drafts. The first few were the biggest corrections, completely ripped apart. And then as you go along, nearer the end, there's less and less improvements. And it's just like grammar or spelling. And then you finally get to the end, you're like, it's done, and you submit it. And that's such a great feeling. But today, I'm going to be talking about the structure, what I included, and what you should include. So I've got an old version of it, but it's pretty much, it follows the same skeleton, the same structure. It's just, I can't really find the actual final version, but it still followed. I think I just tweaked a few words and bits, but it's still there. So you start with the introduction, and you want to kind of just in a nutshell describe kind of what your interest is in the subject, why you want to study it, and kind of maybe what area interests you. So I just mentioned social sciences. This like fascinates me because X, Y, and Z, because of behaviour, because of how behaviour influences this. Maybe mention a study, for example. Don't go into too much depth in the introduction, because you just want to, this is the most important part. You want to draw the person in who's reading it, and yeah, you kind of want to just give a little brief overview of why you want to do the course and why you're a great candidate. I know quite a lot of people use like quite big words or quite like word it in a way that they don't normally speak in. You can do that, but it kind of always sticks out, like you're trying too hard. So I feel like try and keep it simple for now. I think my biggest tip when you're starting it is it's okay to mess up, and firstly just get ideas down. Get ideas, get everything down, get achievements down, even if you're not going to include them, achievements, qualifications, work, voluntary work, extracurricular, books you've read, etc. Just get it all down on a Word document, which I did, and then you can kind of dissect and take and kind of see what you're going to include. So that's kind of the intro, so you kind of want to just keep it brief, keep it simple, yeah, and maybe mention a couple of topics that you really interest you, or why interest you. Okay, and then the next paragraph, because I do a joint honours, I broke it into psychology and sociology. So my first one was psych, and I mentioned studies that really interested me and kind of related it to my life, related it to why it interests me, and kind of why it's sparked an interest in me to study this. Why is it relevant? I think that's a thing that you should always constantly be asking yourself when writing this. How is it relevant? Don't include a bake sale you did when you were 10. Include relevant extracurricular sports. It's okay to include, interests. Of course, it shows that you're not just kind of centered around your subject. You actually do other things, but don't make it too far-fetched that it's not similar and it's not relevant. So yeah, I mentioned like Milgram and Grant-Tell, Sperry, those are ones that really stood out with me. Kind of gave like a brief kind of explanation why, and so that's kind of why. And then my next was sociology again, and again, why it links to my life, how it's affecting my life, because it has. I'm going into my 5th year, and every time I learn it, I'm blown away by what I learn. And then the next paragraph, I hope this is helping so far, because at the end of the day, obviously you can get as much advice as possible, but it's just a case of just sitting down and writing it, and have your teacher constantly mark it, because you can only get so much feedback, but it's actually what is in front of you, what the teacher's marking, that counts. So, okay, so this is the next paragraph, and I mention the news, a particular story that really intrigued me or why it sparked an interest. So yeah, I kind of dived into that. because again, it shows that you actually do extra reading, you're actually going out of your way to research, to find out more information. The next paragraph, so these are the last 2 paragraphs now. The next paragraph, I speak about kind of extra stuff I've done, which is very relevant to my course, being like a year 7 bullying mentor in 6th form, and like a progress mentor kind of thing. Also, I worked in 2 primary schools, so I mentioned being a teaching assistant, again, very relevant to social science subjects. And then I mentioned 2 memorable moments, one helping a trainee teacher, and another helping children with special educational needs. And then I kind of rounded it off with a conclusion, but kind of a brief few sentences about extracurricular. So that's kind of what I did, at least. I, of course, did mention stuff I've done, but I really kept it focused on my subject. So with my conclusion, I just mentioned my part-time job, voluntary work, a course I was doing at the time, but again, kept it very brief. Like, and I'm so excited to learn this course, you know, etc. Don't keep the, try and keep it minimal, but don't be too basic. And also, I feel like I should mention. I know it's quite ironic that we say avoid it because it's used so much, but if it's avoided so much, surely it's not used. But the word passion, don't use the word passion because it's such an overused word, apparently. I don't really like it. I did not use it. But yeah, that's what they say. And try not to like describe yourself too much as like, I'm very hardworking, it's just words. So explain why you're hardworking. Don't say I'm hardworking. Say, you know, I did this, X, Y, and Z. This shows these attributes, these, you know, transferable skills, you know, stuff like that. But I think it's just a case of just sitting down and writing it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It takes time, because I thought, oh, a couple drafts. No, like most people do like 10 plus drafts. Getting it right, because it's important. And also I want to mention quickly, writing a personal statement for transferring university, because I transferred. So from transferring from 1st year to 2nd year. So when you're writing a personal statement, I essentially kept it the same. However, I tailored it for a university student. So I got rid of, you know, in 6th form, in this, I kept it relevant. So I dedicated a paragraph to my 1st year, my modules, how it's relevant. So I think that's the most important part. Make sure you mention 1st year, modules, assessments, and try to keep it positive. Also, you can include like, oh, learning curves. You know, like, I did this wrong or something like that. However, you know, from doing this, I learned to do this. It's okay to do that, but try and keep it positive. Don't try and mention like your weaknesses, because university admission staff do not want to read that. Also, I forgot to mention, I did include a book in my personal statement. So rather than just, you know, online information, online news, I did actually read a book from my school's library, my 6th form's library, and I mentioned the title, mentioned briefly what it's about, and why it interested me, what I learned about it, and, you know, why that kind of inspired me to learn more. So yeah, I would highly recommend, definitely recommend, even if you only read like a few pages, a couple chapters, include a book, because it's important, and it looks great. Me personally, and what I've been told, it looks great. So yeah, definitely. I would say try and keep it to about 6 paragraphs, I think they say. So I hope I've helped in some way. If you have any questions, then do obviously ask. Please like, subscribe, and all the rest, and I'll see you in my next video.